Hi, welcome back. If you don't know me, my name's Newman, and I welcome you to my program, My Life with Plants. Today we're going to be talking about Phalaenopsis, which is my favorite kind of orchid. We're going to run through the care with you. Before we start, let's just have a look at some. This is a keiki of a Phalaenopsis succulent. It's been grown in here for about a year now. There's a great root system going. I don't know if you can see in there. Starting to grow a good root system. And the past year. Also I got this one here, still in flower. It's got beautiful flowers, harlequin. This one also had a repot, just in the nick of time. Starting to establish a root system. No new leaves yet because it's flowering. Plants tend not to produce any new leaves yet. And we got this one here, which has the big white flowers. Been flowering for a few months now. Has a great root system. You can see that root system right there. This is a rescue orchid. Let me just put this back over here. Yes, so first off, let's have a look at how to water your orchids. Sit back and enjoy. Here we have a standard 2-liter bottle, ordinary house or city water, lukewarm. I'm testing with my finger to make sure that it's lukewarm, and filling up the bottle here, getting it ready for the other ingredients that are going to go in. This is what I generally do because I don't have rainwater. This is the tap water, getting ready for the ingredients. This is green tea, standard green tea. It's a tea bag and it has minerals in it like zinc, iron, magnesium and calcium. Gonna let it soak in there. Next is white vinegar. We're gonna end up doing 2 tablespoons. In here goes about 1 tablespoon, and generally it's about 2 tablespoons. Next is 6.5619. This is the fertilizer. You can see the smallest amount that I used there, just a tiny bit. It's not even a quarter of a teaspoon. Goes in there. That's the fertilizer. Put on the lid. Gonna give it a good shake up. Shake, 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 shake. Mix it up there. Have to wipe the floor a bit because it was spilling water everywhere. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a reading of the pH, and generally reading the pH, it can take up to 5 to 10 minutes. So first of all I'm going to put the meter in. Here we go. It won't read straight away. It takes a lot of time. And we'll get back to you on that one in a minute. Let's have a look at the pH. There you go. It's almost 6. So that's about after 5 or 10 minutes. Ended up using about 2 tablespoons of the vinegar in the 2-liter bottle. So there you are. That's all done. The pH is looking good. Time to move on. Going to start with the watering. So you can see here that pour in the water going through the pot. I have a bowl there which is filled up halfway with lukewarm water, and I'm pouring in the nutrient-rich water there, and after that I'm going to leave it to soak for about 40 minutes. Soaking is very important to maximize the amount of water that the orchid can take up, and it wets the medium thoroughly. especially when it's a barky medium. It takes some time for it to absorb enough water. You can see there that the leaves are growing much better now. Watering the way I've been doing it. Thanks for watching. Hope you found that interesting about watering your Phalaenopsis. And anyway, part 2, we're going to have a look at how to care for an orchid that's not doing too well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Here we have a orchid that's not doing too well. It lost a lot of its root system. That was my fault. When I bought it, it was in compacted sphagnum moss, and I kept it in there, kept it growing. Sometimes I overwatered it, didn't let it dry out enough in between waterings, and thus lost the root system. I've taken it out today to check how it's doing. So far it hasn't grown any new roots. It's been about 4 months now. It had a flower spike on it and I actually cut it off. Now I'm just cleaning off the dead roots there. So the outside of the root, the spongy layer tissue, has actually died, and I'm just taking it off. I'm going to put it back into the pot again, give it a water. I'm going to put a plastic bag over the top of it, and I'm going to put it into high light, which is right by a bright window, to increase the humidity, which will push out new roots, hopefully. Yes, one thing that you should do when you buy an orchid from the nursery and it's finished flowering is to repot it into a barky mix. The reason why they have them in those very tight compacted moss is so that they can go without water for much longer. Nursery people don't have all the time to look after the plants and are there to sell. And so the compacted moss doesn't breathe, it's too compacted, oxygen can't get to the roots, which is kind of terrible. Anyway, this will be a long recovery process. I'm pretty sure it's going to do well. It's just going to take maybe a year or two. Anyway, and it goes, and I learned this technique off a YouTuber. You just put it in here, give it a twist so that those roots sit in there nicely. Going to put all the growing medium back in, and we're going to give this orchid a good recovery. It had the most beautiful flowers, some of my favorites, and yeah, I really hope that it pulls through. And here we are. I'm putting in the mix now, making sure that it's pushed in there, not too compacted, not too tight. And after this, I'm going to put it by a nice bright window. Yes. I don't know if any of you have had problems with orchids that have gotten sick and lost their root system, but it's a lengthy process. Sometimes you have to use hydrogen peroxide, equal parts water. Thanks for watching. We're going to move on to lighting coming up next. Alright, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that and you got some good tips about watering and looking after sick orchids. And I'm sharing through my experience so that you can have more success with your own Phalaenopsis. And to finish off the video, we're going to talk about their environment, where they grow, and lighting and temperature. Phalaenopsis are native to Southeast Asia, and that goes into the Philippines and Indonesia, where the biggest, or the biggest amount of species is concentrated. Also North Australia, and there's even a native species native to one of the southern islands of Japan. Phalaenopsis enjoy temperatures ranging from 20 to 25 degrees. They can go up to 30 or 35 degrees, and at that time they'll tend to slow down their metabolism, probably won't take as much water, and generally one of the most important things is that you have good airflow, an oscillating fan, keep open a window, and make sure that they get fresh air. Lighting, they like bright indirect light. Try not to give them direct sun, it'll burn them. If we talk about their native environment, they grow on trees, on the trunks of trees and branches, and when they get their water, the water will trickle down from all the leaves and all of that and gather minerals and all that kind of thing. Even bird droppings and things like that will mix into the water as it runs through the foliage of the trees and trickles down to the root system. So in general, every time it rains in those tropical rainforests, there will be a wetting and a drying process. So they really like to dry out in between waterings. It's very important, and you should follow those rules there. Generally, if you have a Phalaenopsis and you've watered it and you can see that the mix is not drying out, even if it's been after a week, that's probably a sign that it's got a poor root system, and you should take it out to inspect the root system. And anyway, that wraps it up, and I'm so glad that you had the time to visit my channel, and I hope that you got some good tips about growing Phalaenopsis, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Anyway, that's all for today. Happy planting and enjoy growing. See you.